There you go.
Okay, thank you.
All right, it's recorded.
How do you know?
Top left corner.
Okay, thank you. We should put that in our
Right.
minutes to do them.
So the second one is the Leaves of Autumn content model, and we really aiming to sell 100 pieces of free content a day by the end of 2020. So we were very close to reaching our 30 pieces of content goal until I got sidetracked with a lot of responsibilities and school as well, and also just being unable to because of circumstances that I couldn't control, such as like power cuts and bad internet that really wouldn't allow me to even connect my laptop to it. But from now on, I really pray that we will be able to continue and reach our goal sooner. So the main thing that will help us to accomplish our goal is the quote cards, because they have a really great impact, and the people who are receiving these quote cards really enjoy it, and it's very impactful because a person could be scrolling through a feed with a whole lot of non-Christian content, but that one quote card could really change their day and convict their hearts, and the Holy Spirit could use that to impress them and even change lives. So the power of quote cards is truly amazing, and I'm very grateful for Sister Rebecca and the entire graphic team for all they do with the visual aids and the presentations. It's really a blessing.
Mm-hmm. Praise God.
Okay. And we got to plan that we could take some of the slides and make quote cards a lot faster in batch from the slide presentations that we're doing. We can use those and post them on Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, praise God.
And then that'll help us to reach our goal of 4 quote cards a day on Instagram.
And our slides.
Lord.
Yeah, reaching the slides.
Yay. That's smart.
It's true. So I thought we would start off small. So I would have loved to share this on the screen, how we can reach our goal of 45 pieces of content. We were supposed to reach that at the end of February, but now it's currently February. But with all the quote cards that Sister Rebecca has
Kim,
made in...
excuse me, Kim,
Sorry?
can I ask you a question?
Hello?
Are you able to take a picture and send it to us on Messenger on the graphics team? I mean, on the publishing team?
All right, I'll try to.
You said because you wanted us to be able to see what you had.
Yes, I'll try my best to
Okay.
access it on my Notion page in my browser.
If not, that's okay. You don't have to. I was just thinking that might be another way you can send it to us.
All right. I think for just to keep time, I know everyone's very busy, and I don't want anyone to miss out on this meeting. I will send it as soon as we finish with our meeting, but I'll
All right,
verbally describe what the action plan is to get to 45 pieces of content per week. So basically, currently, what we'd like to have is, it worked really well when we had, at the beginning of February to mid-February, when we had a quote card being released every day on Facebook and Instagram. And just so it wouldn't be the same, the order was basically switched. So the one that was posted first on Instagram was posted like second last on Facebook, so it wasn't always the same. So kind of buffering it so it's not exactly the same. So what we'd really like to do to reach 45 pieces of content is the 3 main visual platforms are Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram. So with that being said, we'd like to post 3, if we are able to just post 3 quote cards a day on each of those 3 platforms, we'll have 63 posts on all the various platforms. So that would really help us to reach our 90 pieces of content goal. But before we reach that, even just posting 2 per day on each platform, so 2 quote cards on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest every day will help us to reach very close to our goal, which would be 32 pieces of content being released per day. If it's every day from Sunday to Sunday for the entire week, that would give us 32 pieces of content. And then if we include the 4 podcasts, and then also the daily live videos, as well as the YouTube videos, which I'd like to post on a more frequent basis, that would really help us to reach 45. The exact numbering is on the image that I'll send to the AOI publishing group.
Is that doable by Rebecca to do that many in a day?
4?
Sorry?
I know it would be 9. Is that doable for you to do 9 quote cards in a day?
You can get 9
It won't exactly.
from one presentation, and we're doing 4 presentations a week.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just I'm not sure.
So Rebecca has really been working hard on those quote cards, so there's a real big, there's a large amount of quote cards that still need to be released. So if she just continues batch creating the quote cards using the slides, then it's really possible.
Okay. And another question I have is, there's this new platform. I don't know how new it is, but there's this platform out. It's called TikTok. And right now it's at its beginning stages, where if we put something out there, we really say something. A lot of people are seeing, 1.5, I think it was 1.5 million or 1.5 billion, I think it was million people looking at it already. And if we each open up TikTok and just put something on there once a day or once a week or something.
It'd be a lot easier if we just open up one and then
one
put the
account.
content on
Okay.
for the Army Youth.
Do you think that's possible for more content?
There's more
Should be powerful.
attention on TikTok and less content creators. So the supply and demand is, the demand is extremely high and the supply is extremely low for content. So the more that we post God's word on there, we publish, you'll be able to get in front of more people, especially younger generations.
And people who want to see that because they have like little taglines, tags or whatever, hashtags.
But what kind of content do you post on TikTok?
One minute videos, 1 minute micro clips.
Like movement.
We just need someone to go through the content and find 1 minute sections, trim them out, and post it there in portrait mode. And if we have 1 minute clips, we could put that on Instagram also.
It's like we could advertise without advertising.
Without paying for it. Yeah, we can get the message
That's really good. We need to, I'm not sure if that was you who mentioned it, brother. Oh, it was in the course that one of the videos, the part 3 of social media explosion, and it says that we need to go along with it was in one of your videos actually, sorry. The one about the robots taking over the cashiers in Walmart, I think it was. No, Target. So we need to go along with the trends, and we need to make use of these platforms where all the young people are. So that would be a great idea to implement if we can just find someone who would be willing to become familiar with the platform and lead that specific team. A TikTok team will have a TikTok team as one of our media teams.
Where's Andrew when you need him?
What would Andrew do? He's not going to post on TikTok.
Andrew likes to take videos and stuff, and he likes to be
We
goofy.
don't need to take videos. We need to use the videos that we just recorded today and find 1 minute sections and trim it. So we just need someone to watch through the video and identify 1 minute sections.
Well, who could do
and
that?
then we need someone to trim that, and it's very easy once it's trimmed.
Who can we get to do that?
knows how to do it, they can train somebody to do it? Like a trainer, do they have someone teach us how to do that?
I know how to do it, Mom knows how to do it, and Kim knows how to do it. And all it requires is someone who likes to watch videos,
Videos.
who could watch videos,
And who's got an
And-
eye for good, good spots.
nuggets. Yeah.
Nuggets, exactly.
And then we have a form that people can write down the timestamp, which is like what seconds in the video did it start and finish. And it's a 1 minute start and finish, or within 1 minute. And then all we need is someone who does that. And we have some training systems for that.
And that's called what?
It's called timestamping.
Oh. Okay. And then. Oh. How come we have the monthly OKRs in here?
The monthly.
We should probably delete
Uh-huh.
it. Because we're using the weekly sprint template for this.
Oh, okay.
When
Okay.
at work, I know when we're posting our stuff, we
Mhm.
keep it at the top of the feeds. Do we have a way of keeping these at the top of the feeds?
The more that we comment on our stuff, every time we comment, it goes to the top.
Oh.
And it shows
That's
up
how
in
you get it
people's
to
feeds.
top as far
And
as
on
you want.
TikTok, you want people to touch it. You just want them to go.
You mean
Play,
React?
play, what's that called? The mole where you have to like
Whack-a-mole.
thunk them on the head.
Yeah, no, it's quite like that, but
So, with regards to our annual OKR of the content, that would be 100 pieces of content per day, going out, free content, which would be equivalent to 700 pieces of content per week, which is a great amount. And the more seeds you have, the greater your harvest can be, and the potential for a very bountiful harvest. So we need to really get more seeds planted there out, and that would
Thank
be
you.
fulfilled if we posting at least 100 pieces of content per day.
What part are you on? I'm kind of lost here now.
She's at step 2.
She's at step 2. Thank you.
So that's step 2 with OKRs.
Thank you.
So it was step 2 and point 2.
All right. Thank you.
And then point 3 would be Brother Enoch with the systemology course. To fully systemize the 20% of the systems that will bring about 80% of the results of the Army of Youth DFG program, starting with the subscriptions.
Well, we're getting more subscribers. And I'm talking to somebody pretty soon too.
That is great. It's always great to see more engagements and more people willing to subscribe, even if whether it be to the newsletter or the DFG course as well. Any sort of subscription is a good sign that people are interested and they want to know more, and they will eventually, through subscriptions, climb up the value ladder and receive more value and really have a better experience than they walk with God with the help that they can get. So step 3 would be the prior week in review. So review. What worked well this week? So one of the things that really worked well was the quote cards. The second thing that worked well was this week we had better communication with people on the team. So that was something that we can continually improve on. The better we communicate with each other, the more productive we can be, as we know who's doing what, when, and where. So
I know I try to contact you sometimes. Is there a good time to contact you?
A good time to contact me would be around in the morning
My
or
morning
in the
or yours?
yeah. So when it's so when it's in the evening for me, it's basically morning for you and vice versa. So basically, you can contact me like around when you get up in the morning or in the evening, late in the evening. Then that's the good time to contact me because that's before I start my day and when my day gets more peaceful
Oh, okay.
towards the end of the day.
Great.
That's when I'm likely to be able to have time to respond immediately, hopefully.
Okay.
And one of the best ways to communicate with like Kim or other people in other time zones is don't treat it like a conversation. Treat it like you're sending a letter in the mail. And because you're never going to write like, hey, I have a question for you, and then send it in the envelope and ship it off. You're going to say, like, you're just going to ask your question, and you're going to put all the information that they need to know, all the questions that you have, and you're just kind of like communicating all that you can that you need to, and then you send it to them,
Oh, okay.
and then when they respond. Because if you're waiting for a response, then that's really bad communication. But if they're in a different time zone, you just dump it all out, and they
Okay.
respond in batch, and then we just do it
Oh,
like that,
okay.
and it works really well.
Sounds good. Always see. Can I talk to you for a sec? Oh, I'll wait for him to answer.
Oh yeah, don't do that. I'm glad we're covering this.
Yeah, someone. All right, so that's good. So then we need to see what needs improvement. Oh, not, wait, I'm sorry, Kim. You decided if we go there because we were on what worked well. I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
The slides creation, the workathon went really well.
Oh yeah, it did.
Yes, Susan. That was a blessing.
It went good the last 2 Wednesdays. Milda and Abby got on to learn how to make slides and create these quote cards, and they enjoyed it. They're going to get back together on the 18th, and then this Wednesday, Patty and Martine, they joined, and they were learning about slides and how to do those.
Patty was taking diligent notes.
She was. Both of them really enjoyed it.
And I'm doing social horsepower better. So we get more of the things out there.
Sure.
That is really great. And Social Power is a very handy app because it posts to various accounts at the same time. So that is really neat.
But we have to accept the email in order to publish it to our social media.
Yeah.
It doesn't do it automatically.
I think that's the only one difficulty because not many people check their emails as well, and sometimes it can end up in someone's spam, and they might not always get the email. That would be a problem with the HB.
Yeah.
It is.
That is a problem. Welcome back, Rebecca. And is there anything else?
That needs improvement.
That went real well. We have topics and
We got 7 minutes left.
oh, okay. Then maybe we should move on to
So, with the measured key results, next week, we were unfortunately only able to release 11 pieces of content, which is half of what we were on, and that's a great decrease, but hopefully we can get back on track to our goal of reaching 30 pieces per week.
I think the way that we could do that is if we each take one and we batch schedule, like with Rebecca, if she's got a lot of quote cards, then she can go on Buffer and batch schedule a whole bunch for Instagram and Facebook, and that will increase it. That'll boost it again. And if there's any way, and I want to say too, we did good at using some of the newer Dating Live videos for YouTube. I saw some of those have been coming out, and that's good. I think the ones that we're recording, especially like each time we do it, we get better and better. Those have a higher chance of being more successful pieces of content than the older ones, like in December and things like that.
We can't use Streamio somehow?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, what did you say? Batch record and
Well, I was saying batch schedule.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
But wouldn't Restreamio put it out in more places, so that would be considered, however many places you did it would be considered a place?
What more places?
Like you could do Facebook and YouTube, you could do whatever places take videos. And then for each place that you hook it up on, wouldn't that, like if you hooked it on 3 places, then that would be 3 contents going out that day, right? Considered 3 different contents by doing that?
There would be 3 different content, but they're already going to all the places that Restreamio would send it through vMix, and Carmen
Okay.
uploads them.
All right.
So
And Restreamio
What's it
has their little logo at the bottom that we have to go back and delete, which I don't like. That's just extra work.
Mhm.
What were you saying, Kim?
I was speaking of with the tasks that were not completed yet. One thing that I've found difficulty with is allocating leaders to some of the media teams. I would have loved to have that done already, because one thing that you mentioned was something that I've been really pondering upon the last few weeks, is if we could have each leader media team posting to each different platform, that would also consistently and diligently posting to each of the various platforms, and that would definitely increase the amount of content pieces going up per day. So if I were to schedule the videos on YouTube, for example, let's say, and then immediately as I schedule them to YouTube or the newer DLVs, I immediately add that to Buffer, which makes things a lot easier if you do it immediately, and then that would also increase the amount of seeds we planting. And let's say if once the quote cards are done, they could be immediately scheduled onto Buffer as well, and all the other various different types of content, and that would help a lot if we could have the media team leaders playing an active role.
Yeah, and I want to clarify too, when you're saying immediately do it, you're talking about like batch scheduling and then immediately like putting all those things that are scheduled on YouTube and then batching that on Buffer. So it's like batch creating quote cards and then immediately batch scheduling them on Buffer.
Yes,
it
would make it a lot easier, because what I found is after posting videos after a long while, having to go back is a lot difficult when there are other tasks. But if we do it at the same time, then it's more efficient. Or maybe that's for me personally, but I think that would help us a lot.
I missed what you said.
Can you repeat that, please?
But I don't think you need to repeat it. We have 2 minutes left and we got to pray, but I agree that we do have to, if we do them, if the leaders schedule and be responsible for that platform, we will be able to schedule and publish a lot more. I know you've been doing good with YouTube, and Carmen has been doing good with the podcast. Rebecca is new on Instagram, so she's getting into the groove. And I would really recommend creating like a rhythm, a content rhythm for you create them and then you schedule and then just figuring out what what you would need, how much time you need to spend on like the slides, repurposing for quote cards, and then scheduling on Buffer, and then the hashtags. And once we get into that rhythm, it's going to really help simplify things.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I think you worded it a lot better and clarified that very well.
Well, you,
Thank you very much. I said that your explanation was a lot better than mine. It made things more clear with regards to team leaders and scheduling the content.
we were saying the same thing. I was just summarizing for my own sake. So that's good.
But I appreciate that. So I think that was the last point. Besides the post-meeting steps, and the step 5 would be what would still hinder us from achieving the weekly tasks. So basically, I believe all those factors are still pretty much valid and still hindrances to the work that we need to do on the weekly tasks. And I think one thing that could be added to that is communication to the preventing us from achieving those weekly tasks, because one of the reasons why I haven't been able to finish allocating all the team leaders is because of communication and being unable to communicate with everyone. So that would be something that we can really pray about. And all these various things, we can definitely keep it in our prayers that all may go well and that these things may not hinder us from doing God's work.
Definitely. It's 12 o'clock now, or it's the top of the hour.
Well, can I make a suggestion? Maybe when we do the meetings, if we go rapidly through the top part, that's wrong. Go rapidly through the first part, and then it'll help us to be able to spend more time on the other parts, because what we normally do in all the other ones, we just revisit what we have written down, the vision and the values. We just like repeat those kind of, and then we go on to the other steps, because then that'll give us time to be able to reach, to get to the point where we're like solving problems and stuff like that. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I think we could talk more about it afterwards. It would be good.
All right. Well, she's on the phone here.
Yeah, we
Thank
can
you.
messages.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you.
We appreciate
Feedback
you.
is crucial for improvement.
I missed what you said. I'm sorry.
I said feedback is crucial for improvement.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
So I think we can close off with a word of prayer, but just before we do, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being able to make it. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it due to issues with internet and so on, but there's always a way around it, and where there's a will, there's always a way, and God will always provide a way for you. And I just appreciate all of you taking the time to be here and contribute as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm glad you're here as well. Okay.
So would anyone like to close off in prayer for us?
I would. Dear Lord, thank you so much for all the wonderful things that you do for us and how far you get us. And we don't want to forget that it was because of your love and your mercy and your care and your work with us that we're able to do what we do right now. Please, Lord, open our hearts and our minds to see clearly the way we should go, and help us to see how Jesus would do it if he was here. Help us to model him. We love you. We really want to reach out to as many people as we can so that they can learn how to read the Bible and stand for themselves. We know that's very important these days. And please show us how to do that and give us humble, willing hearts to do your work. We love you so much. Thank you for letting us get together and watching over our electronics and stuff. We appreciate that too. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you so much.
Praise the Lord.
Thank you very much.
Rebecca.
Hope that you will have a blessed week onwards. I have to leave now, but I hope that we can really be more productive this week, and I pray that our team may be more efficient and may be stronger and more powerful soldiers in the Lord's army and build up our army even more and more.
Same to you.
Thanks so much, you guys.
Blessings, Rebecca.
Bye.
Bye. God bless you. Thank you. Do I need to do something for the recording?